in the Holy Rosary now?
Well, let's just say that there might have been a couple of chew outs that I heard. I just heard someone was pulling someone's hair, and yeah, so it's never good. 9/11, Wednesday, December 22nd. He's the chair of the Board of Education, Mark Mendiola. Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Jason. Half a day.
Right
Happy
up.
holidays.
Man, Mr. Chair, I didn't even know that there was, God, I sound dumb, but I didn't even know there was a board meeting last night, and so it's great that you came on. Totally didn't know. This is a big coincidence. I was like, hey, come on and just say Merry Christmas for 30 minutes. But can we just start there, Mr. Chair? So there was a board meeting, and there were some big things you guys discussed, right?
Yeah, I think, Chris, first off, it's the end of the year, and of course we have a lot of things to be thankful for. I mean, we've navigated through this, through this pandemic. We continue to provide, partnership and services to our students, and so, we had a full agenda last night. Of course, there's a lot of things that we focused on, but the beginning of the year, the board made a commitment to focus on our strategic plan and basically building up for what the Department of Education should look like in the near future. And one of the things that of course a lot of our board members, especially elected ones, we basically have about 2 years to kind of effectuate change. Some of us have been there quite some time, but really a strategic plan is it's a planning document to basically just guide and give the superintendent and the Department of Education a roadmap into basically providing quality education for our students, our public school students. And so along with that, we're unprecedented where we're receiving a lot of federal funds to support the Department of Education, and how we maximize and use those funds is really key. I just want the public to know that, the Department of Education, although the federal funds are coming in, this is not going to be a lifetime type of support to the department. And so, of course, there's a lot of things that's tied to the federal monies that have been provided. And for instance, some of it is tied to reopening of schools. Some of it's tied to, ensuring that schools are properly maintained and brought up to code. And so, there's a lot of multiple moving targets. We discussed last night Simon Sanchez, and at this point, I think the rendering and the design is at 60%. And by January, we're anticipating 90%. And then we're looking around mid next year to turning the shovel and basically getting the financing and all that stuff squared away so we can finally get Simon Sanchez built. If you recall, in the previous administration, there were some challenges regarding procurement. Yeah. And so the legislature in its wisdom gave, at the request of the Department of Education, the opportunity to take the procurement from external entities and actually have it being managed by the Department of Education. So a lot of people are like, why is it taking so long? Well, the previous way they were doing it was, everybody just submit a bid and tell us what you think a school should look like. And then the bids came really astronomical. I mean, apples and oranges were being presented to the Department of Education. But this way we're doing it is where we're engaging really the stakeholders and trying to encourage them to, what is the type of school you want at Simon Sanchez? And so those discussions occurred. They did the groundwork, basically looking at the slopes and all the other areas, the landscape. And so we're at the point where we are going to get the renderings at 90%. Then we put it out there for people to bid, and hopefully we get good bidders and we get the best school built for Simon Sanchez community because of their input. And so the principal and the community, the mayor, all these folks are involved in trying to determine the types of classrooms they need in their different areas, their programs. And so, yeah, that's where we're at with Simon Sanchez. That was a big thing for us because come January, you're going to see things speed up pretty quickly when it comes to the, once we unveil what the design of the school is going to look like. And it'll be at 90%. Wow. So what that means is the remaining 10% will be, of course, dealt with the contractor and the folks that are going to be doing the school.
Mr. Chair, so have you guys got this far along? Like when you do, like you said, turn the shovel and start the construction, what's going to happen to the students at Sanchez? Are they going to be still going to class there at the existing campus?
Yeah, so part of the way is that they're going to build on another. This is a discussion as building on the other foot. The campus has got a property right now that's not actually being utilized right.
Okay.
So I think there's going to be some swing space for them to continue to operate. But then as soon as things start going up, of course, then they'll phase them into the schools. But our hope is to get this school built sooner than later. I mean, the students up at Simon Sanchez and the families up there, they've been promised many years for a new school, new campus. Well, the stars are aligned now, and I just want to update the community on that. So that was one big topic that we discussed last night.
It wasn't the only one, though, right?
No, yeah. So I want to transition to that. Some of the other discussions we had, of course, was so we talked about the strategic plan. We talked about how that's going to roll out. The other big part of it was the superintendent's evaluation. We had a discussion about that. So we looking forward to an evaluation of the superintendent come January. Dr. McNitch is the chair of the evaluation. So he's basing it on the public law. What are the duties and responsibilities? And the way the discussion went last night was, since we're coming up with a strategic plan, we're going to start tailoring his evaluation, of course, in consultation with him towards those areas. What are the outcomes? How is he doing in leadership in different areas within the department? And so, we're continuously improving in that. The superintendent is the only employee of the board. By law, we cannot involve ourselves in any discipline issues, any administrative issues. So a lot of the things that we get coming our way, especially complaints from the schools and all that stuff, we have to throw it to the superintendent and give him and his team the opportunity to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have 9 board members with different views on how to fix a problem. But really, the superintendent has to just abide by the policies and give him guidance when there is none. And that's, the role that we see as a board, to basically provide the guidance to the superintendent and the outcomes, which is, focusing on, ensuring that he does what he needs to do his job. And so, we continue to have a good dialogue with him. It's not a contentious relationship with us. I think we've maintained a good relationship with him. He's the longest serving superintendent in the chief states within the United States, 10 years. Most superintendents don't last that long. And I think that leads me to the other point, which is dealing with high-risk status. With the high-risk status, we've been on it for quite some time. Since I've been on board, about 4.5 years. We've made significant improvements. When I came on board, we were spending like $5 million to pay for a third-party fiduciary to come in and oversee how we spend our federal dollars. I want to report to our community that we've been able to shave that down to about $2.2 million, and we hope. And I just want to thank our elected leaders, those who kind of stepped up and helped us along the way. Congressman St. Nicholas just the other day called for basically a meeting with U.S. Ed. And this was really, truly the first time we've had this level of attention with the new administration. And we were able to talk to Phil Junks and Mr. Soto, who have the ear of the Secretary of Education. So the commitment is that they're going to come out next year around the June time to do a final review, hopefully, to basically tell us that we are going to be, and they're going to check our work. And, and if we do what we say we're going to do and we got it in order, then we can take that 2.2 million and put it back into the classroom, and we'll finally be rid ourselves off of this oversight. And basically, when you talk about high risk, Chris, we kind of talked about this, when the federal government comes in and says, hey, you guys haven't been doing what you're saying you were doing with the funding. And it's really interesting because if you look at the island territories like the Virgin Islands of Puerto Rico, Guam is far, we're kind of far removed from the U.S. mainland, but we made significant strides, and the superintendent, being the longest serving superintendent, has provided us the opportunity to just really build the internal capacity within the department. So high risk, we're looking for 2022, where we get good news and that we'll finally be able to rid ourselves off of high risk status. I want to transition to another one, Chris, which is a big one for us was, how many days lost learning and active recovery, right? And so right now at this point, what's being reported, we're like about 24 days short. We want to make it very clear for our teachers and our educators. I mean, they've been teaching all the way through. So to meet the 180 days, our educators have, but because we went to the cohorts A and B, there are some students that are not getting the required 180-day, contact. And so that's the dilemma we're faced with. There's some ideas from the department. We hope to wrap this up in January. We can inform our public as to how we're going to make up those 24 days. And if we need to seek a waiver from the legislature like we did in the past, I know for me as a parent, I want my kids as much as possible to get the support they need. And the department is providing that. It's just that it's time. Timing is everything. We have a lot of things to look forward to in 2022, but it's really loss recovering, providing tutoring opportunities, providing after-school programs, partnering with private entities to provide additional supports to our students. And so we set aside a certain amount of money to from the federal support to meet those needs. Now the question is, how are we going to roll this out? So the discussion is continuing. Last night the board made a motion. There was a motion to all the meetings moving forward, our work sessions, and our of course our meetings have always been streamed live. We were the first agency, and I just want people to know that. And Chris, you know that. It's kind of weird because I used to wait for the media to sit there and they'll go through that 2-hour meeting with us, or 3-hour meetings, and then they'll ask us questions after. But now they just sit at home and they watch the video, and then a day or two later they're calling us up, say, "What did you guys mean about that? What did you?" So of course we wanted to just ensure that our public's well informed about that, and so now our work sessions, which usually is just an opportunity for the board to go into finer details with the DOE management. And so those are just discussions, no action. And because of open government, the issue for us was open government says if there's 5 board members in any meeting, that's quorum. That constitutes, can be a violation of open government because you have a quorum that can lead towards a decision. Right. So of course, we wanted to make sure that, every board member, when it comes to the board meeting, they're fully informed. And so that's the purpose of recording and streaming it, so other board members can be able to watch and participate in that regard. And so we're not wasting people's time when it comes to the board meeting and having a committee of a whole and having a 3 to 4 hour board meeting when people should just be prepared when they come to the board meeting. And like I said, we have 6 elected board members, and 3 of them are appointed by the governor. So that's a full board. And then of course we have the ex officio members. So for this past year, we've been really working on the structure of our board and how to effectively, manage policies, how to manage giving the superintendent guidance. So yeah, it's been a full year, man, and dealing with the reopening of school, or not reopening, but bringing students back face to face. And then what are we going to look like, if this endemic, when we start going to the endemic portion. Every time I think we're in endemic, they said, oh, there's a new Omicron, it's kind of like Transformers, Omicron, so, right? Yeah. But, it's a serious thing for us because that's the other point that we also had last night. Public health is exploring the idea of the schools being, having vaccination clinics at the school. And some board members publicly came out and said, hey, we're not going to support additional lost instructional time. And if they're going to use our school facilities, it's going to have to be during after hours or during the weekends. And so for us, at least for me, this is not a DOE program. This is public health's way of reaching to the community and trying to get people vaccinated. Folks, right now, it's up to you. Make an educated decision. There are vaccination clinics around the island, and that sets up with public health. And if you feel that your school-age children between the ages of 5 and 11 need to be vaccinated, please exercise that. The availability is there. And if we do provide it at the schools, it's really about accessibility. But we want to reassure the public that, DOE is not mandating this, okay? This is not a mandate from DOE. And if parents make a choice, it's all voluntary. We're not putting any restrictions on to my knowledge, no restrictions on any of the students that are coming to school saying that you can't come to school because you're not vaccinated. We're leaving it up to the parents. So I just hope that public health and their team continue to educate our public community. We held a town hall meeting a couple weeks ago, and we allowed, we were part of that discussion. But, just be very clear that this is not, we're not the operational portion of this piece is not with the Department of Education, rather with public health. And so we're trying to find that balance, and we're trying to ensure that our kids remain safe in the schools. There are a tremendous amount of resources right now, Chris, that's coming into our island. I know canopies have been deployed, PPEs have been deployed. And so over the Christmas break, some of our schools. I know my family, we're volunteering to help, with some minor repairs at the school. Some of the principals were reaching out to their community partners during the Christmas break, changing doorknobs, fixing light bulbs, and all these different things. And then leaving the big picture stuff like the canopy repairs and all that stuff to our facilities and maintenance folks. So yeah, we're just trying to, we're forever busy. And the month of end of December, early January, Chris, you're going to see a lot of activities moving from the Board of Education. We have a full agenda. We have our budget to pass. We have the superintendent's evaluation. We have Simon Sanchez issues to deal with. We have the pandemic we're dealing with. And so, DOE, we're DOE strong. When we say we're DOE strong, a lot of multiple moving targets. But through your partnership, Chris, KUAM, allowing us the platform to update, and we appreciate the calls that you put into us and give us the opportunity to clarify to our community, and getting the superintendent on Wednesdays with you guys has been very helpful. And I got to say that, although sometimes people don't agree with our decisions and stuff like that, we do take a lot of these things into consideration. It's not like we just go through the motions. Some people say, hey, you're just going through the motions, the dog and pony show, but really it weighs heavy on us, especially the ones that are families. We have families that also are going into schools. I mean, we hear it at the barbecue tables, and all that other stuff. And, we just got to make the best decision based on what is presented in front of us. So.
Right on.
Yeah, sorry, that was long-winded.
No, that was absolutely fine, Mr. Chair. Before we let you go, like a Christmas message to the department.
Yes,
students,
I want to thank all our families first and foremost for being patient with us, with understanding, going through this whole process. I wish there was a blueprint on how to navigate through a pandemic. I think this has been very tough and challenging, but I think we're a lot of lessons learned, and our families have been very, supportive of what we've been doing. The other thing too is our teachers. To all our teachers out there, I know, oftentimes they may feel that we're not supportive of what is going on, but I want to rest assured that we'll continue to do our best to do right by all the teachers and ensure that they are made whole. To our administrators, the folks that are on the front lines that are running the schools, man, thank you so much for your dedication to ensuring that our schools continue to operate safely. And then, of course, to our folks, our administrators, our superintendent, down to our deputies and the folks at central office. Although we take a lot of hits, Chris, I know that a lot of people are really dedicated, because at the end of the day, they realize that it's the students and our future, really, and the balance if we don't do it right. And so to my colleagues on the board, I appreciate the support. Also in just giving your insight too, and your time. A lot of people don't realize that we're really citizen volunteers, for the amount of hours and energy we spend in helping the Department of Education. We're real citizen volunteers, and I just want to thank them. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I look forward to a great 2022 where there'll be a lot of transformation for the Department of Education, and I'm sure that the link will be beside us as we start to unroll a lot of these things, Chris. So Merry Christmas, Guam. Merry Christmas, public schools. And just stay safe, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well.
Right on. God bless.
There you go. Chairman of the Board of Education, Mr. Mark Mendiola. Did you guys get all that? He was just like, just like that. A lot going on at GDOE. How about that Simon Sanchez, though? He's right. People always say, God, it's taking so long. Well, they're looking to begin construction middle of next year. Knocking on wood.